Welcome to the AR Performance Squash Advantage, hosted by me, Ahad Raza, a former PSA touring pro turned elite performance mentor and coach. I break down tactics, technique, fitness, and mindset by analyzing players from the past and present, both men and women. I aspire to teach, empower, and guide transformation. Let's get started. Hey, what's up, everyone? Today's video is about one of the most neglected aspects of squash, the mental game. Now, you see three images on the screen, and I'm not picking on Gregory Gaultier. I was analyzing this match between Shabana and Gaultier, and it was just, there was an obvious trend, which is why you are seeing what you're seeing. And each of those images is from one of the three rallies, or from each of the three rallies that we're going to check out in this video. Now, before we jump into the videos, I want to talk to you about ultimate performance. So the question really is, what is ultimate performance? Different researchers have talked about ultimate performance as being the state of flow, being in the zone. People describe it as time slows down, the ball is bigger, everything, you can see what the opponent's going to do before they actually do it. You're not thinking, you're just flowing with everything that's happening. Now, this doesn't just apply to sports, this applies to different aspects of life as well. There's a researcher by the name of Anders Ericsson who talks about this idea of deliberate practice, and deliberate practice is one of the essential elements to help us get into the state of flow, because the more expert we can become, the closer we can get to realizing this state of flow. And then there's the preeminent researcher called Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, if I pronounce his name correctly, and he is the author of the book called Flow, and he created this phrase called flow. What is flow? What is being in the zone? First thing, it's not that commonly achieved. And the best of the best in the world are often in this state of flow more often than their lesser counterparts. But flow is all about being present. It's about being mindful. It's about preventing our mind from ruminating and going everywhere else other than being here. Now, I talk a lot about this in my mindset training program called the Life Strong program. I spend a few hours talking about these things and going through drills and exercises and routines. So I'm going to give you guys a very quick overview right now. But the idea is this. If we focus our minds on things that happened in the past, and we have regret about the past, that can lead to things like depression. If we keep our mind focused on the future and we are worrying about how things are going to unfold, that's going to potentially create anxiety in our minds. The only place where depression and anxiety or any negativity can be eliminated is in the here and now. And there are certain ways to practice coming into the here and now. Mindfulness is one of the best ways. And traditionally, mindfulness is all about focusing your attention on your breath because it gives you something tangible that is always being engaged. I also like to use a couple of other techniques related to mindfulness, and we can talk about creating mindfulness cues and anchors and things like that. And those are the sorts of details that I would have to work with you on a one-on-one or in a group basis. And this is what I do in the Life Strong training program. So if that's of interest, please reach out to me. But at a high level, I want to give you guys this context of one element that leads to ultimate performance, flow, and then obviously engaging in deliberate practice like I talked about in order to build up the requisite skills to be able to perform at that elite level. And let me give you a personal example. Actually, just yesterday, I went and I played tennis with a friend of mine, and I'm not a tennis player. I've played maybe 10 times in my life now. I've played 3 times in the last 2-3 weeks, which is more than I've ever played. And I was practicing my serve. Before these last 3 times, I could never even serve. And all of a sudden, I'm serving, but I'm not a proficient server. So in my mind, I could hear my thoughts going to, oh man, I'm wasting time, and my buddy, he's waiting and he's probably getting bored. And then I serve and it goes into the bottom of the net. And I'm like, oh my God, now I got to serve again. So I'm like rushing to serve. And then what I realized is all I'm doing is I'm creating anxious thoughts. I'm not focused on the process. I'm focused on the outcome. I'm thinking about what others are thinking of me. I'm looking at the judgment side of things. These are all ways to break out of flow, to never get into flow, to never get into the zone. And all that happens is when we're constantly thinking, our actual physical actions become choppy and they slow down as well. So you're never actually going to be able to perform to the best of your abilities when the mind is ruminating like that. So what did I do? I focused on the bounce of the ball. I heard the ball bounce. I felt myself letting the ball bounce before I served it. But more importantly, I just focused on my breath and I slowed down my breathing. So this is literally what I did. I bounced it and I went, and then I tossed it up and I went for the serve. And you know what? After consistently doing that, the chatter of my brain slowed down and about 80% of the serves started going in. Now, I wasn't rocketing the serves in, but they were making it over the net. So from going from 80% in the net, bottom of the net, rushing, mind spinning, to bringing myself back by focusing on my breath, by being mindful, I went to 80% of serves in, mental chatter out, but it was not easy. This is something that I practice on a regular basis in all aspects of my life. And it's only for that reason that I was able to execute it effectively in tennis. So the next thing I want to leave you guys with is that in order to perform well under pressure, we have to put in the reps in practice. So when you're under pressure, you are going to default to your highest level of practice. And if you've never done it in practice, it is never going to come out in pressure. So please keep that thought in mind. So I ended up talking a little bit longer than I intended to about flow and mindfulness. It's a topic I love. It's fascinating. And truthfully, this is the thing that differentiates the best from the second best to the third best and further down that list. At a certain level, everyone's skills, fitness, all of those things are very comparable. The thing that separates people is exactly this, the mindset and this idea of being and remaining present. Okay, let's check out these videos. I'm going to try to just let them play through and I will give brief commentary where it's obvious. All right, and go. It's a pretty epic rally between Shabana and Gaultier. And if you guys want me to analyze this one for tactics, let me know. Okay. Shabana plays a pretty wicked counter drop when he's under pressure. Gaultier clips his leg. You're going to see it again. So check out this full stretch. Look at that counter drop. And then Gaultier accidentally takes Shabana out. And Gaultier is obviously frustrated because of the scoreline. 6-4, Shabana's up 2-2, 80 minutes in. And look at that expression. He is on fire. There's the trip. Again, not deliberate, accidental. Makes it difficult for Gaultier to get the ball. He obviously kind of goes flying into the wall too. And over here, Gaultier is still having an argument. He was saying a few, I don't know if it's derogatory, but definitely unpleasant remarks with the referee. He did apologize to the ref, but I mean, you can say all sorts of things and then apologize. I don't know if that makes it okay. That's just my opinion. So after that bit, let's see what happens when Shabana serves. And Gaultier is totally out of it, guessing where the ball's going, not really paying attention, going for the arguably slightly reckless shot because he just wanted to put it away, and then leaving himself scrambled in the middle. So yeah, he didn't hit a 10 right away, but what he did do was play a reckless headless shot, or heedless shot rather, and the outcome was, it was one shot easy for Shabana. Gaultier put himself out of position, and that was the end of the rally. Now check out this second rally over here. Nice little hold from Gaultier there. Both players are jumping on the volley quite a bit. Nice kill. A little bit of contact. Gaultier is not happy about the contact. The ref gave a let. And Gaultier said something pretty derogatory here. He said something like, I'm French and, you know, you dislike French or something like that. And he's clearly pretty visibly upset about the comments over here. And let's see what that results in. Shabana serves. 10. There is the outcome. Head is no longer in the process. You remember that phrase, process versus outcome, that I had? This idea of being present, being mindful. Gaultier's head is focused on, that was a bull call by the referee. This is crap. This is, you know, it's a critical time in the game. I want to play that ball, blah, 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 blah. As a result, goes for it, hits the tin, because he's not focused on the process. He's focused on everything else and the rumination around that. Now, this last rally, I just started it here because there was, again, the Gaultier is not happy about the decision that's given. He got a stroke awarded against him, and at the end, it was given as a stroke. And now he's talking about, hey, how is this possibly a stroke? He's gesturing and mimicking, and then at this point, he tells the referee, here, why don't you come down and show me how that's going to be a stroke? You can come play the ball. So again, he's focused on everything else other than the play at hand. And now this is an interesting one. Look at him. He's going full out, just attacking. You know, you can see the frustration. And then what happens? He ends with a tin. Because, again, he's not in that level frame of mind. So there's this idea of the degree that one is turned on. So, for example, they say that if your activation, your excitement, your energy is way too high, that's probably not good. If it's way too low, that's probably not good either. There is this middle ground of energy between excitement and nerves and all of those things that psychologists have researched and discovered to be the optimal state that you want to go into. Over there, Gaultier clearly looked like he was really high because he just wanted to attack and hit hard and finish this ball. And it resulted in the tin, unfortunately, for him again. So, when we think about this, what these three rallies have shown, and again, this is just a sample. I'm not picking on Gaultier. It was a match I was analyzing, so it was evident when I watched it. Arguing over a decision typically only has one outcome. And if you think about this right now, for many of you, you've probably watched Ramy Ashour play. And Ramy Ashour hardly ever argued with the referee. Oftentimes he would just smile and he would keep going, and you would hardly ever see him get into these breakdowns. Yeah, he would go for nicks and hit the tin every now and then, but you wouldn't see him argue with the ref like this, and then you wouldn't see him just like hit a tin right away on a kill or something basic like that. It's just a little comparison of two players who took a very different approach mentally, psychologically to the game. Now, the goal, as I mentioned, is to stay present. And the technique that I shared with you was around breathing, focusing on your breath, and generally directing your focus inwards. And then that phrase that I shared with you guys earlier around process versus outcome is critical. So, for example, if there's a decision that goes against you, what can we do? I shared the example of my tennis experience. We can just focus in on our breath. Feel the stomach expand. Feel the air going in, feel the air going out. Feel your body relax a little bit if you're excessively heightened. Feel the body relax when a call goes against you. And then focus on the process. Your process might be affirmations. It might be your strategy. It could be hit a nice lob serve, come through the ball, hit a nice lob serve, and then hunt the volley. Depending on your level, that might be your strategy. If that's not it, you might talk to yourself about hit through the ball, be patient, and hunt. So you might, if you're at a higher level, the rallies are a little bit longer, you need to play a little bit more length. You're making sure you're hitting through the ball so that your length is getting to the back of the court, and then you're looking to hunt and be patient. Whenever the opportunity arises, hunt, follow it up if it's there, otherwise be patient. So these are the sorts of things that you want to shift your mind back to when it comes to challenging decisions, or truthfully, any time. Whenever you're between points, try to reinforce your strategy and your tactics through mini affirmations. And don't do this on the fly. You want to plan these out in advance and then start practicing it. Just when you're even practicing and training and playing fun matches, then you can try it in your league matches or in any regional matches, and then in tournaments if you play tournaments. And over time, it'll become second nature, and then you will become far more consistent in your play, and you'll be able to execute your strategy more effectively, which over time will lead to more wins. Thank you for your continued support. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, like it, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. I really appreciate everything you guys are doing to elevate the level and standard of the channel. The conversation is amazing. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video.